Welcome to the Regen Doc podcast, powered by dynamicathlete.com. I'm your host, Dr. Aneesh Garg. I'm Yale trained, Andrews trained, and a two-sport U.S. national team doctor here to help you make sense of regenerative medicine. I've been told to just live with it. I don't accept that. You have to live with it. That sentence gets me fired up every single time, because what's really happening is that they run out of ideas. And I'm here to tell you that's not good enough. This is going to be a spicy one. Let's get into it.
3 doctors have told me there's nothing more they can do. At what point do I accept that and stop spending money chasing a fix?
Well, I think it's when you talk about spending money, what do you mean? Is that, have you tried things that have a reasonable expectation to work? Or are you saying that you're following the insurance model and saying, well, my PT didn't work, my steroids didn't work, my surgery didn't work, now what do I do? I think it's this resignation gap that patients live with because they don't know that other options exist. You have to hunt for what the problem is, and then what are possible solutions to it. You know, I said that this is a spicy episode. I say this because this gets me so fired up. One of the best things that I get out of our clinic is when we go find problems that other people couldn't find. And it has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with the person in front of me, because now we've given them hope and now we've given them an avenue forward. If you're resigned to the fact that says, well, I'll just live with it, I think it's because you don't know that there are other options. Now, if you don't choose those other options, totally fine. I don't have any problem with that, but that's on your own volition. You're making that call. It's not somebody else making that call for you. It's you making that decision. I think that's where it has to be up to the person in front of you. And that's your job and your responsibility to do that to the best of your ability. These people that are giving you these suggestions, these doctors that are giving you these suggestions, they're in the same system that's going to give you the same answers day in and day out. That's not good enough. What do I say in this situation? Walk out. Go get another opinion. Their ceiling is not the ceiling for you. It's the ceiling for what the system has been set up to offer. And that's the problem. I don't have enough time to figure out what's wrong with you. I don't have enough time to sit back and think, what are my options here? I'm not rewarded for getting you better necessarily. I'm rewarded for how many of you I can see. So if you feel like a number versus a person with an issue that you're asking for help for, that's what I would look at. And I think that's the difference in our clinic when we deal with this. Because what drives me is seeing what we can do and how to solve that problem. That's what drives me. The other stuff is secondary. I'm not saying it's not important. It's still a business. You still have to earn a living. But that's not the primary objective. I can go earn a living somewhere else. This is fun. And this is where I get to use a skill set that I'm supremely proud of, but it's building that connection with that person, figuring out what their goals are, and then I figure out, and we as a group in our clinic, because we take care of the person like a NASCAR team, everybody in our clinic takes care of that one person. It isn't just me that's running that clinic where we're It all just relies on me. It's a group effort in that regard. But that's what drives me. That's what motivates me. And then when people say, just live with it. We don't swear on this podcast, but that's pretty close to it right there, where I would say that's garbage. So don't accept that. I don't accept that. You don't accept it. There's a better answer. Then you just have to live with it.
What if my doctor told me I'm just getting old? Am I being unrealistic to expect to feel better at my age?
I think I go back to that same point of your doctor's ceiling is not the ceiling. It's the ceiling of their capacity. And that's okay, right? I mean, I think this is why people get second opinions. They look at different options. And I think that's okay. We take med students in our office. We have interns. There's people floating around our office all the time that are driven to take care of our patients and what we're doing. And they want to be part of it because they see the drive. And so I tell our students all the time, and shout out to Rocky Vista students, which the majority of the students that we take in our clinic. So we'll give them a little plug. Don't let your ceiling be the patient's treatment ceiling. Don't be the reason that they don't find out answers, because that's your top level. If it's not working, go find an answer. Go hunt for it. Because too many times people will just be put off and say, well, that's all I got for you. Either you be the answer or you go find them somebody that's the answer. That's the way that we look at it. So when they say, just live with it, I don't accept it. There's people succumb to that answer way too quickly. You can't do that. Otherwise, what's the point? Then what are we doing? Right? Your age is not a diagnosis. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I say when I look at an age, I go, all right, this person's 80 years young. This person's 90 years young. I think the only time I say years old is when they're 18 and under, because those kids can't wait to grow up. Your age is not a diagnosis. You're getting old, or you're just getting older, is a lazy answer. If you're a doctor out there and you're telling somebody that they're just getting old, stop being lazy. I told you this gets me fired up because that's not acceptable to me. If they're in your family, you're going to tell them, hey, you're just getting old. Deal with it. No. Go find an answer. They may not choose it, and I'm okay with that. I'm not saying that you have to do this. What I'm saying is you need to have the information for you to say, I'm not doing this. There's a big difference. You're not being unrealistic. You just haven't found somebody that hasn't looked at all the options. Your goals are good goals. I don't care if it's, I just want to sleep better at night. I don't care if I just want to stop peeing myself when I laugh with my kids. I don't care if it's I want to throw a ball with my daughter because she wants to try out for the baseball team. I don't care what it is. Your goal is your goal, and that's what our drive is, to try and get you better. So if you're looking for options and you don't know what they might be from a musculoskeletal, sports medicine, orthopedic, regenerative medicine standpoint, go to dynamicathlete.com, read about some of the options that you may never even have known that they existed. But these are some of the tools that, when used correctly, can significantly decrease injury time. We talked about this on another podcast. We cut down somebody's fracture time from 6 weeks to 3 weeks. We are buying back time. It's not hyperbole. We have the ability to buy back time, your most valuable resource. And I love saying it because I love when people look at me and they go, what do you mean you're buying back time? And I show them the outlay of it. And I said, I think we can get you back faster. And then we get to work. And it's super fun. And so if you're not satisfied with how long somebody tells you it's going to take, there are other options. So go to dynamicathlete.com, take a look around, see what's out there, be informed. So that way, when you go anywhere, you are the most informed that you can possibly be.
What questions should I be asking that nobody else has asked me?
Are there non-surgical options that can help me in my situation? What have you heard about? Are there regenerative medicine solutions that are out there? I think the biggest thing is primary care physicians or OB-GYN doctors or psychologists or psychiatrists, anybody in the mental health world, in the pelvic floor world, or orthopedics and sports and whatever, may not know what regenerative medicine A is, and B, the depth of what that is. They may have heard, I've heard of PRP, or I've heard of stem cells, and then they get worried about the legality of it, or I've heard of some pelvic floor stuff, but I really don't know. I think the biggest thing is do your homework and search for a regenerative medicine specialist, physician. Not somebody that says they do PRP. Find somebody that's got a lot of training in it. Anybody can go get a PRP kit off the street pretty much and say they do PRP. And if you're just price shopping, you're going to be in for a rude awakening and you're going to pay twice. I'm putting everybody on blast on this one, right? So I think the big thing is for me, because the reason I say this is because I feel like I'm trying to protect the people that get taken advantage of, in a sense where or dismissed, I think is a better way to say it. Well, in this situation, dismissed when they say there's nothing else you can do. I think the other component is when people get taken advantage of it and say that what they're doing is top level when they know, and I know they know, that it's not top level. But when financial motivation is your main factor, walk out if you think that, because it shouldn't be that way. I said this on a different episode where I said somebody walked in our office and said, here's $5,000. Can you fix me? And I said, please don't let anybody take your money. To the financial detriment of our clinic, I am telling you, please don't let anybody take your money, because this is not going to solve your problem. And that's the only way forward. So I think that's where the big thing. So what does success look like? Like, that would be a question I would ask. Whatever you're trying to get after, what is the upside of this? What's the downside? What are we trying to get you back to? Has anyone even asked you that? I mean, what's important to you? Our very first procedure that we ever did, we did a PRP injection for somebody's patella tendon that was thickened and had failed every other thing that they had tried. And she wanted it done at that particular time because gardening season was coming up. That's her season. Who are you to judge? It's gardening season. Same thing, right? Who am I to judge on that? We don't. An injury is an injury is an injury. I just need to know, we just need to know, what are we trying to get you back for? It could be the Olympics. It could be gardening season. It doesn't matter. It's what's important to you. So I think that's really a big thing. And then have we looked at all the options, not just the ones that are covered by insurance? I think that's a huge thing. I think if insurance is your limiting factor, then you're going to be inherently limited. So everything has a cost. Everything is an investment. And I think you just have to look at what's important.
Tell me about someone who was resigned to a life of limitation and found a different path. What did that feel like for them?
I think the biggest thing that we see is they are not living up to who they want to be optimally. So they just accept this lesser version of themselves. And I think that's really sad. And I think it could be because of chronic stress and they don't know what to do about it. So then they just deal with it, or they take medications because they're depressed or they have anxiety or whatever it is. And they don't look at these and they say, okay, well, I'll just take some medications or do whatever. Or they're leaking because of they just had a kid and they are trying to get strength back. Or they can't run and they say, well, okay, I can't run anymore. So then they become this sort of shell of who they are. And I think that's the biggest thing, that when you see people that live with this, they live with it because they have to, not because they choose to. And I think when they come and see us and then they start to see almost this fog being lifted where they're living with this pain, or they're augmenting something that they're doing so they don't have this pain. Like we have our 2-year-old puppy at home who she's amazing, right? Our sheepdog poodle mix, her name's Mila. If you ever come to the office, there's a good chance you'll see her there. And, you know, we have people that talk about they can't walk their dog because they can't hold on to the leash because their shoulder hurts, or they can't walk their dog because their knee hurts. And they're missing out on something really important to them. Like, that makes me sad thinking about it, right? If I couldn't go out and walk with Mila and take her out and do some of those things. So I don't want to be resigned to that. I want to do everything I can to make sure that we're doing whatever option we can do. So I think that's where when people come in and they go, I didn't know that these were options. I can't tell you how many times people said, I wish I knew about you a year ago or 3 years ago, or before I had surgery, or before I did this, or before I spent 6 months in PT, or whatever. And this is where I encourage you to be educated about it, so that way you can make your own decision. I'm a big proponent of you making decisions with the most information you have. I don't care what decision you make. That's up to you. But I just want you to have the most information you can have so you can make what's right for you, not dictated by anyone else. I tell people all the time in the clinic, I don't want you to feel like I ever talked you into anything, because I don't care about anything else about other than you getting better. So I'm going to tell you as if you were in my own family, then you decide, right? And I think when you see that emotional weight lifted, when you give them an option that nobody's ever presented to them, and then they start to think, well, wait a minute, I might get better here. And you create a really warm, safe place for people to get better, where they can feel comfortable enough to be relaxed and focus on their own health. That's what we try to create. And I think that's the challenge, right? If your reward mechanism is pumping 50 patients a day through your clinic, that's a little bit of a different reward standpoint. And I think we're fortunate enough to be able to do what we're doing in that space.
When someone walks through your door after being told to just live with it, what's the first thing you say to them?
Oh, we ask a whole bunch of questions. I mean, in terms of what are we trying to get you ready for? How much time do I have? What are your goals? What are things that you want to do that this is preventing you from doing? How has this affected your mental health? Do you feel like this is getting better, worse, or the same? There's a bunch of these questions that we need to know to be able to figure out where you are in your journey and where you want to be. Not where you've been told that you have to stay for whatever reason. Again, we talk about the ceiling limitation. I want to know what you want to do and what are we trying to get you back for. I don't care if you think it's unrealistic or I can't do it anymore. That's not for you to decide. That's not for me to decide. We just need to put that on the table. And then we go after it. If we can't get to it, it's not because we didn't know what the options were. We didn't know what else is available or anything else like that. It's just sometimes it doesn't work, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. We run an over 90% success rate. Somebody's got to be in 10%, or even it's less than 10%. But again, right? But you're making sure that you're doing everything you can in that capacity. So when I hear somebody walk in and they said, I was told I just have to live with it, that's a lazy answer, man. And they better have tried everything under the sun before that's the answer you saddle somebody with. So if you're listening to this and you're a colleague and you give somebody that answer, I just don't think that's your best. And I would challenge you to do better there, because the person in front of you deserves better than that. If any of this stuff resonates with you, go to dynamicathlete.com, read up about it, get yourself educated, be the most informed you can, and I will see you next time, and you see how fired up this gets me, but I want what's best for you more than anything. We'll see you next time.